Hi, I'm Juliette Ferguson at Sotheby's International Realty. People call me Jette, and welcome to Jette TV. Today I have Jane Bednar in Monterey County. She is an attorney, and she will be here to answer a few questions about all sorts of things that she does. So
Sure.
Tell me about what are the main areas you cover as an attorney.
Okay. Well, first of all, Jette, thank you so much for inviting me to
Thank
be
you for coming.
on camera today. This is really fun. I have been practicing in the area of civil litigation mostly for almost 30 years. The entire time has been in Monterey County. I'm a graduate of Monterey College of Law.
Oh, great.
I do eviction law. I represent commercial and residential landlords in evicting tenants.
And that's one thing I wanted to ask you about. I'm so happy
Okay.
to hear somebody that will do that and loves doing it.
Yeah.
Well, not loves, but
I don't know about loves, that might be a little strong, but I'm comfortable with the process and I enjoy doing it. I do a variety of other civil lawsuits as well in the area of business law, real estate law, personal injury, business torts, partnership dissolutions, that sort of thing.
okay.
So just kind of like the full gamut of litigation, except for family law, and I don't do criminal law.
No family law, no criminal law.
Right.
And at the beginning, I'd like to give her phone number, and then I will at the end. Her number is, and this is Jane Bednar, attorney, 831-375-6381. So again, thanks for coming. So I'd love to hear some maybe tips and ideas for sellers, and I know you work with landlords on what are the best things to know if you think you have a problem and might need to evict somebody because you're trying to sell a house or evict them for other reasons.
Right. Well, I would say that if you are not familiar with the eviction process, and you have done none to just a handful of tenant evictions in the past, it's really important that you consult with an attorney who does practice in that area of law.
Yes.
Because there are many, many pitfalls for the uninformed landlord in trying to evict a tenant.
I've seen some of these pitfalls myself. That's why I'm
Yes.
so happy to know. Kyle Krasa, another one that was interviewed, he's a trust attorney in Pacific Grove. He actually referred Jane Bednar, and anybody Kyle refers, I know is fabulous. So
Well, I think very highly of Kyle,
Yes,
so
yes.
I appreciate the referral.
I do too.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about evictions. What are those, like, what can a seller or a landlord do to protect themselves or to start the process? Obviously call an attorney.
Okay, so, there are different reasons to evict a tenant. One could be for non-payment of rent. And the other is you just simply need to use your real property for some purpose other than as a rental.
To sell it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the first step in doing that is to issue the proper notice. The notice has to be in writing. It has to be preferably personally delivered and then mailed to the tenant.
Okay.
If the tenant is being evicted because either you don't want to rent the property any longer or you're going to sell the home, then the period for the notice will depend on how long that tenant has been in the property. So
Under a year, over a year?
exactly. So
Okay.
under a year, 30-day notice is required, but over a year, you have to give 60 days notice.
Right, I've learned
Okay.
that, and I realize
Yes.
a lot of people don't know that.
It's true, the law changed a few years back, and another thing to point out is that from time to time there are changes in the landlord-tenant laws.
Sure.
So if it's been a long time since you've been involved in an eviction or in a rental situation, then you need to either consult with a lawyer or educate yourself as to
Right.
what the current status of the law is.
I can't imagine how much of a savings it is to actually start the process the right way, because I've seen a couple of my sellers and I came in mid-process and they had started it, I guess, the wrong way, and it ended up taking so much longer.
Well, it's true, and if you start the process and you've made an error, you may end up having to start all over
Right.
again, so you lose valuable time. You may have to incur expenses for attorney's fees to fix whatever it was you may not have done correctly.
Right.
So I always say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, which I know is a trite saying, but in this case it's very, very true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
so when you, okay, who gives the notice, the 30 or 60-day notice to the tenant?
well, it can be the landlord, it can be the landlord's attorney, it can be the landlord's property manager.
How about the realtor? The reason I'm asking is I was asked to do it, I've done it. I'm not sure it's the best position to be in, just curious.
You know, it really doesn't matter that much who gives the notice to vacate.
Okay.
What matters is if you do end up having to file an unlawful detainer lawsuit, who signs and verifies the contents of the lawsuit.
Okay.
That's key.
Okay.
So anybody who's authorized by the landlord to issue the notice can do so.
Okay.
So you've got your notice now, and it's a proper notice, and now we're just talking about the 30 or 60-day notice.
Right.
We're not talking about the 3-day notice, and I'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, goody.
You want to make sure that your tenant actually receives the notice.
Right, and you said mail after, so you can you just have them sign the document? Because I did that once.
Yes, you certainly can
Do
do
you have
that.
to mail it too?
No.
No, okay.
The situation where you would want to mail the notice to the rental address is where you go to deliver the notice and nobody's home.
Right, okay.
So then you can post it on the property, but then you have to mail it
Okay,
the same day.
makes sense.
Right.
Okay.
And then whoever it is who actually serves the notice, that person needs to sign a document called a proof of service, and it's under penalty of perjury.
Okay.
And it has to set forth the circumstances and the date and so forth, and the method by which they served the tenant with the notice.
Knocked on the door, tenant was not there, blah, 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 blah. Something
Certainly,
like that.
certainly,
Okay.
yeah. And the same would apply if, let's say, the tenant is not home at the time, but there is somebody else in the house.
Okay.
And so all you have to do is, the law says you have to serve a person of suitable age and discretion. So if a teenage
That's
child
vague.
comes to the door, you can serve that person. That's called substituted service.
Okay.
And then you would still need to mail it.
Okay.
Okay. But if a toddler comes to the door, that's not a person of suitable age and discretion, so
Yes.
you would want to post and mail.
Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So I have gone through the process a few times. I even had to like put my hand up in court and, you know, say I delivered this on this day, da 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 da.
Okay.
But I had one that dragged out a very long time and another one that didn't. And the one that dragged out was the one where they started without the attorney on their own and ended up taking longer. But I just remember, and I'm not an attorney and I don't know these words properly, but I just remember demur, and they kept delaying.
Yes. And it is important to note that one of the things that can happen if you don't properly follow these laws to the letter
Yes.
is that the tenant, especially if the tenant has a savvy lawyer representing him or her, can delay the process for a very long period of time by filing motions as opposed to an answer in court. These motions are called demurs, and they attack the complaint.
They're horrible.
And they are terrible. I'm involved in one right now, which I think is not a good demur, but nonetheless, the tenant had somebody file it because it gives the tenant that much longer before the tenant has to get out of the house.
Right.
So
I can't believe it, but we're almost out of time. But I'm gonna have you back if you're willing.
It's been so much fun.
Because this information
time
is
flew.
so important.
Okay, what I'd like to cover next time
Yes.
would be the 3-day notice to pay rent
Oh,
or quit.
good.
Because that gets very tricky.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. This
Okay.
is Jane Bednar. And where is your office?
My office is right across the street from your office at 3855 Via Nona Marie.
No kidding. I
And-
thought you were in Pacific Road, Ohio.
No, and it's in
Oh my gosh.
Carmel at the mouth of the valley. My suite number is 202F.
Right here by the post office
Yes.
on Vienna Marie.
We have convenient parking and an elevator.
Yeah, you could park all day long in the 10-minute parking here.
Ooh, okay. Well, thank you so much for having me,
And
Jess.
thank you, Jane.
It's been a
And
pleasure.
again, Jane's phone number 831-375-6381. Jane Bednar, attorney at law. Thank you.
Thank you.